Now never trust a wee girl with a dark and roving eye. Just court her and embrace her, never tell her the reason why. Just court her and embrace her till you cause her heart to bleed. Faint-hearted soldier never won on the battlefield. Farewell to Ballymoney and to County and
John?
Molly, I bid you a fond adieu. A miracle lies far away across the ocean
Ja, het is al steeds aan de champagne.
Didn't find that just straight that president.
Yeah, just but I never walked.
The foundations on that. All right.
down there now.
I do this. Down.
We were married, darling Willie, on the eve of Christmas time. Do you remember, darling, when we walked the moonlit road? I held you in my arms like I'd never let you go. Our hands, they were entwined, my love, by the silvery pale moonlight in that spot near Shanagolden on that lonely summer's night. Then came the call to arms, love, and the hills they were aflame. And we'll think of Shanagolden on that lonely summer's night.
Today, from scenes I've adored, and long ago the hour I know I first saw Illinois. But time nor waters right can lead my heart away. Forever true it lies to you. own dear Galway. All grey and bleak by shores and creek, the rugged rocks abound. But sweeter green the grass between that grows on Irish ground. Some friendships found that wealth abound, and a love that lives always, forever true. It flies to my own dear Galway.
Lovely.
Eat, come on there.
Michelle.
Sing you eat.
Sing, go on, you're in a pint type.
Come on, Isa, sing there.
It's a long way to the grave, I think.
Bring home. On.
The wind just take have a couple of fun with
Voice of an angel.
Okay. Ding dong, ding
Young. Soft as the voice of an angel, reading a lesson on her. Oh, with a gentle persuasion, whispers her comforting word. Wait till the darkness is over. Wait till the tempest is done. Hope for the sunshine tomorrow. After the shower is gone. Whispering hope. Oh, how wise comes thy voice, making my heart in sorrow rejoice. If in the dusk of the twilight dim be the regions afar, will not the deepening darkness brighten the glimmering star? Then when the night is upon us, why should the heart sink away? When the dark midnight is over, watch for the breaking of day. Whispering hope. Oh, how welcome thy voice, making my heart in its sorrow rejoice.
in cash. Come on. Let's see if I can
Oro się do Bahawala.
One song.
The sun is sinking toward the westward. The fleets are leaving Dingle Shore. I watch the men row in the Coral.
Yeah.
As they mark the fishing ground near Skellig Moor. All through the night men toil until the day break, while at home their wives and sweethearts kneel and pray that God may guide them and protect them and bring them safely back to Dingle Bay. I see the green isle of Valentia, I mind the caves around Loch Lane, and gannets swinging with abandon as they watch the silver store that come their way. I also see a ship on the horizon. She is sailing to a country far away. On board are exiles feeling lonely as they bid a fond farewell to Dingle Bay. Now years have passed since I came homeward, and time has left me old and grey. I sit and muse about my childhood and the happy hours I spent near Dingle Bay. In memory too I see the hill of Branton, and the Isle of Inishmore seems far away. I'm always dreaming of my childhood and the happy hours I spent near Dingle Bay.
Good man.
Up, Kerry.
You see the bit on the floor? Did you do that?
No.
Are you finished? That's it, you think? We're going to use gravity now to get up. Well, that's we well equipped for that. We'll take out this one. And I'm going to take off the bits of wood as well. And hopefully he get a big cheer for having survived the ordeal of water. Are you all right? Well, call the old bag. I'll tell you what, it's empty. The boys and girls don't believe me because some magicians tell lies. Will you check it out to make sure there's nothing in it? Corn and all, nothing there at the moment. Could you make a noise like a chicken? Could you? See if there's any in it now. I doubt it. Oh. A real plastic. Oh. Hey, we don't want to break. Did you know that some hens are very fast? If you squeeze an egg from the ends like that, no matter how hard you squeeze, even a JCB digger, Michael Lynch's will not break the egg. So what happens if you squeeze like that? Oh, you won't squeeze it. There it is. Put it back in the bag. To enable everybody to see it in the bag, we have the netting. Can you see it now, then? Yeah! Now, what I'm going to do, because I'm the magician here today, I'm going to make that disappear. Some of you over here, you may see where it goes, but say nothing, because we're going to fool the ones on that side. You simply take the egg like this, say the magic word, gilly gilly, focus focus, and when you're finished, there's absolutely nothing at all in Timothy in the bag. It's not under my arm. No, it's not under the other one either. It's not under that one, and it's not under that one. It's definitely not under that one. Put it in my pocket, Timothy. Is it in there in my pocket? Show it well in there now. I'll give you the magic wand this time now. I want you to be careful with this now, and no fooling, because he's going to take the magic wand and he's going to tap the egg once with the magic wand and... I'll give you the wooden one. Hang on a second, I got one of the yellows. That's the better one. I'll give you the good plastic one. Look, that's the good plastic one now. Don't let it bend whatever you do. Wave it over the bag. The bag has got the measles. Did you ever have the measles? Like those, you know. That's what happened to Harvey Dean. We must get another fella. I got a man here. This man. Your name is? Gavin. Gavin, is it? I'm very pleased to meet you, Gavin. Can I call you Gav for short? You can call me Mr. Silvano. Gavin is going to do his circus act. Would you like to see that? Yeah! Now it's very... Gavin, the only thing, it's 180 if you break it. Is that all right? It's 180. No, Gavin, don't drop it. That's it. I've got one as well for Marie to look. I'm going to spin these very fast. No dropping stakes. Okay. Gavin is going to do the tricks as promised, like so. This is the Irish one, look. He's going to go like that. Of course you can. Hey! Come on, Tony, you can do it. He didn't go too far. He got it! We're going to get another fella. He was doing a good deed. Oh, wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. Kev, you haven't been dismissed. I'm going to put this man. Your name is? Daniel. I put you over there, and I'll put Rita there, and I'll put Gavin here. You know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to turn your backs to the audience. I'm going to turn your backs, and I'm going to dress you up. There's one here for Daniel. Hold on to it, Daniel. Put your face there like that. Not your head, just your face. And there's one. This is... Oh, sorry, there's a mistake here. Would the two of you turn back, please? The two of you, would you change places? I mixed up the boys and the girls. Change over there. And Marie can sit there. You can't mix up the boys and the girls, you'll be killed. Now, this is better. I mixed them up. This is you, Marita. This is the competition, and it's going to be judged by poll right. It's going to be judged by My Polaroid's coming for us. My Polaroid. And I'm looking that I have the biggest Polaroid picture that you can get. You can touch the back if you like, but you can't touch this Polaroid surface because I'm going to put it in the latest flat, this camera. Now, because the camera is smiling at you, lads, you also smile at the camera, and it says funny photos. So, I like you, lads, but I don't like you that much. Over there, behind the speaker. That's the place to see it from. They'll be all on top of me. That's right. I'm going to take a little... Oh, those weights heavy, Gavin. The legs of the dancer there. My God, Timothy, the most unsexy swimsuit is in the beach. Huh? I saw a man swimming in one of them one time when I was young in England. We've gone a bit briefer than that, no one will. Oh. Didn't she come out well? Marita, because you were extremely good for winning and posing in the first place, I'm going to make for you, from a balloon, any animal in the world you like. What will you go for? Would you like a doggy?
met him, I was discussing it with the late Sean Hatsy O'Donoghue. And I said, I met somebody and we'll never guess who it was, and I'd given another clue or two, and he said, yeah, Frenchie, who else? So, Francine, as we call it, has returned to be with us tonight, and we're very glad to have Francie O'Donoghue with us. I often have occasion, or sometimes have occasion, to visit his adopted city of Kilkenny, and I bump into him now and again on the street, and we have a little chat, and you know, he never says something like, and he knows who Killarney or how things in Kerry, or and he hasn't around Clonkeen or anything like that. He always raises the question to us, how are things at home? Anything new at home? It was always at home with Francie. Always, how are things at home? How are the people at home? And he keeps extremely up to date with affairs from home. Because if somebody was sick or whatever, he would inquire about it also, and then the same conversation. So he has come home tonight to talk to us for a while. And we hope afterwards, if you have any comments or additions to make or observations to make on the talk, we would be glad to hear them. And I think his mention of home and that whole idea of how they are at home and so on ties in very well with the ideas we had for this weekend. It was a chance for people living away from home to come back home and meet the neighbours and friends and so on again and have a chat and so on. So this is all
tonight is to bring to mind some of the people, or as many of the people as I can remember, and indeed I'm very indebted to my brother Donny, who I would say is the original memory man and certainly in our family, because I mind his memory as well as my own, and others of course, to come up with some of the bits and pieces of information and some of the little stories which I'll tell you as we go along. But to get out the historical part of it out of the way first, we talk about the building of the railway itself, which started in 1890. That's 110 years ago, at least I can subtract a bit in any case, and it was finished in 1893. Now the GS, Great Southern and Western Railway, were of course the company involved. The cost was a mere £140,960. The pay was big in those days. The British Treasury paid 50,000, and we were under the British Treasury in those days. Then the Great Southern and Western Railway paid 90,960, and the local contribution in there somewhere was £2,400. That's the historical bit. But behind that little piece of history, you had the men and the women and of the railway line. They built it, pick and shovel, and so on, for 20 miles. It was an enormous feat of work, in my view, in 3 years. It was, I believe, Scottish engineers who were in charge, and they did record in places that they were amazed at the strength of individual men who worked on the railway. Men they saw moving stones that were 300 weight in weight. However, the thing was done, and I'll carry on now to talk to you about the people who worked in the railway. And I'm going to talk to you about the milesmen, because of course, not only was I the father of a milesman, I was the son of a milesman, I was the grandson of a milesman, and I was the great-grandson of a milesman, because each man was to a mile. They walked the mile, and they checked the state of the rails and so on, and there were what they called keys, that you kept the tension in it and so on, and they saw that, for example, if there was a flood, had been a flood and so on, that there would be no ballast washed away. So each of them walked the mile each morning. A group of people, and my great-grandfather, the man I mentioned earlier on, he was a gatekeeper outside Killarney, and then my mother was a gatekeeper in Lowbridge, of course, and hence we were known as the Gates, Francie the Gates, and Sean the Gates, and so on, to distinguish him from the crew road, the Inland Towns and all the others in the valley. Then you had Maggie Leach, and she was there this side of Morley's Bridge. She would have been, of course, and then you had people in Crail and Kilgarvan and so on. Maggie Lynch was a grand aunt of Joe Lynch, the actor, and indeed Joe spent a lot of his summers here in Glenskirrin, around Durbridge and so on. And I remember some years ago he was being interviewed on RTE, and the interviewer was doing his best to get him to talk about his career, but Joe insisted on talking about the great time he used to have as a child around Clonkeen, Lowbridge and so on. The guards then, they were the people, you know, the guards rank was like a converted cattle wagon. They had a little sheltered place in the middle, and they had a little bar for the door, but it was very cosy. There was a stove in there and so on. And you had Jimmy Curry, O'Donoghue. He'd be the uncle now of Jimmy Curry back there. And he lived in Kenmare. Then you had Timmy Mahoney and Paddy Lynch, John O'Rourke, there were other guards. To tell you the kind of pace of life that was going on in those days, Jimmy's brother Tim was a great storyteller, by the way. He used to come to our house regularly telling stories. He was a great man to tell ghost stories. And it was very hard going up the stairs after one of the Tim ghost stories, but it was only years afterwards when I heard that actually Tim used to be afraid of his own ghost stories. My mother got me good to a story that they lived back in the cottage. It's gone now, of course, and the gates are gone, but you know what I'm talking about there, just below John Cronin's. And my father and Tim were drinking in Menaces one night, and they were there sort of late. Even the late John O'Donoghue hours existed that time. Anyway, my mother heard them coming along around 1:30, and they were, as they say, Mogileor, and she heard the two Amadons talk away. They stopped in front of the cottage and they talked away for a while. And then Tim said, well, he'd better go home, and it just struck him that he'd have to pass through Paris, which was behind Connell's, and that it had a name of being haunted. And Hanuman Deal, as they say, Tim was afraid to go home. My father said, sure, that's grand. He said, I'll convey you home. So the next thing, the two lads got back again because my father was afraid to come back. Now, my mother knew the score, but she decided to let them sober up, and eventually my father came back alone. So that's the kind of pace of life that were there and the people that were in it. Move on, the drivers, and here are some of them again, just to give you a flavour. Dan O'Shea was one, and then there was a man called Dan the Poet Murphy. And he was called the Poet Murphy after his father, who was a driver in Cork. And a signalman complained about this Murphy man one time to the company because he did not leave the oil for the lamp near enough to the cabin. And he was asked to explain in a letter from the company. And he replied in writing in verse thus: "It is indeed true, as this man did say, I left the oil on the permanent way. But had I known that his feet were sore, I would have left the oil at the cabin door." And the signalman was called for a medical. It was found that it was bad on his feet, and he was demoted to porter, so it's better not to complain too loudly. I'm still with station masters. I digressed there for a little while, and he was the first station master in Lowbridge. And the station house